Hey guys, LechK here, in the middle of my project doing a sauna gazebo build. So I'm going to be doing the roof right now. So I wanted to show you a quick video how to do your shed roof with shingles. Let's get up top, show what you need, and get started. So the roof is about 12 by 24. And here is what you need: staple gun, roofing nails, aluminum trim for the sides. There's all different options in Home Depot, so pick what you like. I'm going with the black. You're gonna need roofing paper, and then obviously shingles, but that's last. Let me first show you guys how to put this on, and then we'll move on. Before we put down paper, we gotta do the bottom edge with the aluminum trim. I'm gonna show you guys how to do the corner in a second. The reason we're doing the bottom edge first, so if there's any moisture on over the paper, it doesn't go under the trim, it goes over it. Once we do this bottom trim, we're going to put the paper down, and then we put the top edge and the side edges over the paper to prevent the same idea basically. So now we're going to line this one up here. You can't overlap these because of this edging, guys. It's fine just like that. And you're installing them, you can put a nail every 24 inches is plenty. That's where my rafters are, so that works perfect for me actually. You could do more if you want, but it's not necessary. So once you line this up, mark the mark where you gotta cut it and bend it. And we're not gonna leave this excess because we're gonna be overlapping with another edge here. So we're gonna trim a couple inches, like over here, trim it off. Let me show you. So with the tin cutters, first I'm gonna just trim the excess that I don't need. Okay, now we can make our edge. There's a few ways of doing it. I'm going to keep it very simple. A little bit deeper. And you can technically cut a little triangle out, but I'm not going to do that, I don't think. This way, and now we can pop this on like that, and then we're going to put the other one over it. So with the construction paper, we're starting from the bottom. We're going to work our way up. Just line it up, roll it out. What's cool about the paper, if you line it up nice and even, it already has lines, so you can line up your shingles easier. But it's always good to make chalk lines as well. We'll get to that in a minute. Line it up with the edge, cut the excess, and we staple it down, and then we move on to the next. So you can leave a little bit, a couple inches over the edge as well, so this way when you put the aluminum edging, you can hold all this down. Then you just trim the excess after. Line this up with the edge over here, all the way down, and then we just staple it down. You don't have to go crazy with the staples, because we're putting shingles in the line down after, but you don't want this flying off the roof either, and you don't want to slip yourself. So put what you think is right, and keep going. Also, as you're stapling, check your staples. I'm doing 1/2 inch ones. Make sure none are sticking out. If they are, nail them in, because you don't want them poking through your shingles later. So yeah, let's keep going. With your first layer done, line up the roll again. And I would say at least go up to here. Give yourself at least a good 6-8 inches of coverage, overlap, if not more, depending on how much paper you need, you know. We're gonna unroll it and keep going. So for the last strip, I am overlapping the front as well, right on this line here. It's about a couple inches, so this sits nicely under the aluminum trim. I wrapped it up cleanly here, and so it's almost done. Then we can start the trim. And there you go, guys. Roof all covered. So even if you don't shingle it tonight or whatever day you're doing this, at least now it's rainproof and windproof, so you don't have to worry about the paper blowing off. Now, one last thing left to do is now grab your knife and just trim off all this excess. So go like on an angle under it and just cut. And that's it. Clean it all up and you're ready. Shingles are next. So you know what I said here, guys, about not overlapping. Yes, you do want to overlap these about 3 inches or so of each other. Since I already put all this down, I just hit it with some flashing cement, and that will work fine. It's just a shed, so I'm not worried. But yeah, overlap all your connections. So we got our paper all laid out. Now that's left to do before we start shingling is lay out our sides. The sides, same idea. You just go over the paper, right to the corner, right over the paper, at least 24 inches apart. I did the front also, but the front's gonna come off because the front will actually go over the shingles, as it's the front facing edge. So this is a Lean To style shed, but I did it for now because it's been a couple days since I did the paper and I don't want the heavy wind blowing it off, so I'm just holding it down. But once I get to that point with the shingles, I'm gonna remove it and put it over, so I'll show you guys that. But I just want to mention that we do the sides first, and now we can start laying out the shingles, which I'll show you guys the process. And then basically it's 12 by 36 shingles. It's like a standard. This sticky substance, that's when the shingles lay over each other. When the sun hits it, this will heat up and glue them together. We're gonna do a 6-inch offset for the starter strip. I will show you guys what that is in a second. And this is basically how you're laying them out. They're gonna overlap each other, so they hit right to this ridge here. So basically you have about 5 inches of visible shingle as you cover them. We're gonna nail it along this line here, not on the glue strip. At least 4 nails, so on the sides, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then go shingle by shingle. So for the first part of laying out our shingles, before we start our first row, we have to do a starter strip at the beginning. We're gonna make our starter strips from the shingles we have, or you can buy them pre-made already. But since this is just a shed project and so on, you don't need a lot, so we just cut them. So you take a shingle, flip it upside down, and we're cutting up basically the edges with the slits in it right on the line of the tar strip. So all you gotta do is make a line. This will just break right off. We're gonna cut enough for the whole length. We'll lay them down with the tar strip facing up, and at the drip edge is the aluminum pieces that we put down, and we're gonna make this overhang 3/8 of an inch over the edge here and over the edge here, like this. So what I'll do is I'll pre-cut them all, and I'll show you guys how to put them down. Alrighty, so before we lay down our first starter strip, we got to cut off 6 inches so we can offset, so we can start with full tile after that. So 6-inch mark, just cut that off. Also, I noticed some shingles, this plastic peels off, so take that off as well. And now with the tar strip on the drip edge, 3/8 of an inch on each side, or even 1/2 inch. And we are doing 4 nails. I'm going to continue down. So before I continue with the starter strip, I did want to mention something. I did not show you guys how to measure actually the distances where you want to mark your lines with a chalk line along, so you're installing everything evenly. The reason for this, one, it's a shed, and 2, this paper already has lines on it. So as long as you install your paper correctly and evenly, you use them as your guide marks. So basically, once you have your starter strip right here, if I take my 12-inch wide shingle and lay right even with the starter strip, guess where it's gonna lay? Right on this line here. That's my 12-inch mark. And as long as I'm even with this line, I'm gonna have an even row, and then the following rows after that will be even, and I have all these following lines to guide me through. But definitely do the measurements, do the chalk lines if that will make you comfortable, especially if it's a really big roof, especially if it's a house roof, then I would strongly recommend it. But if you're doing a small shed, it's really hard to make a mistake because it's not that many rows of shingles. But let me continue with the starter strip and we'll put our first row down. Starter strip ready. And just to show you guys for the last piece, you can either measure it and pre-cut it, line it up, or just cut it off at the end, let it overhang. It was easier that way for me. All right, let's do our first row. So for our first row, we're gonna line it up exactly with the edges of our starter strip. Just line it up directly with the edge, and just nail it down. So with the full strips, we're nailing it right below the tar strip and right above the slit. So basically you want to go right in between here. 4 nails. Right on the line, perfect. We continue with the first row, and then we'll do our first 6 rows, cut the ends, and move on. So here's our first row. Just gonna come out the nails. Place them just like that. 4 per each one. And we want all the way to the end. I trimmed it as well, might as well. It's not a big deal. But you really don't have to. You can do it all one shot later, which I'll show you guys as well. So now we're gonna line up the first 6 rows, offset them. Let me show you guys. So look at this, guys, mid-November, not even 5 o'clock. It's already pitch black outside. Oh, we got a lighter, we can continue. So, we got our first row done. Second row, third, fourth, all gonna be offset now. So basically we are going 6 inches from the end, which 6 inches will be basically middle of each section where the splits are. So middle here will meet, and we are lining this up right to where the split starts. Each shingle, just like we did the first row. So just like that, offset by 6 inches. Now our second row will be the same idea. I mean, our third row will be the same idea. 6 inch offset. And you are gonna line up this way 6 rows. Once we get 6 all the way down, we're gonna finish the end, then we'll start on the next 6 and so on. All right, guys, we got some daylight back. I'm going to show you what our first 6 rows looks like. So I'm counting 6, starting with this one. And the reason we're doing 6 is, look, all you have space left is for one more tile before you have to start finishing each row. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start finishing with this one, this one, this one, this one, this end. We'll do the same on that end, and then we can start with the next 6. Alrighty, so when you're finishing the end, you can either measure each one to the 3/8 over and cut it, or you can just let them overlap and then you cut them with a knife at the end. So on this side, I'm going to show you how to do that, how to just let them overlap, and then we'll just give it one straight cut. On the other side, I'll show you how to actually measure and give it a nice clean finish from the start. So let's just start putting these on. So here, as I mentioned, you want the trim to be about 3/8, even half an inch. You can use a level, but let's do it the right way. Measure it out. We're gonna mark it with our chalk line. Now you can literally grab a shingle, you don't need to have a level. That gives you literally 6 shingles. And then you need a curved blade. So something like this. You can use a flat blade, but the curved blades, hook blades, just work better for this. So that's what we're gonna use. And now we just go right along the line. And you see why the hook blade? Because it just grabs. And that's it. Wayne will take care of the chalk. We were cut. Move on to the other side. Alright, so for this end, since we're not going to be doing the cutoff system but measure it, you can literally use your already started guide, which is already measured out correctly, and just measure. But be careful, because if you cut at the groove line here, there's like an 1/8 inch difference here. So measure from this piece, not from the indented piece, and just see the difference. So 10 1/4. Or you can take the tile you're going to put down, flip it like this, mark it right here. We know the distance, but we know it's 10 1/4, so we measure that out. We have a perfect fit, nothing to cut at the end. The only difference is this process will take a little longer. So we're gonna do this 6 now here, and then start on our next row. Alrighty, so we got our first 6 rows done. It's time to start on the next 6. So we can't start right from the edge because we almost have a full shingle here. We want to be at this 6-inch overlap here, meaning the middle 6 inches here will be between the 2 tiles. So we can grab a full shingle and do that, or since this is not a full one, as long as it's overlapping here, we can mark it here, the 6-inch mark, or 6 inches from here, from the connection of the 2. And now we know we have enough there to cut off. Line this up. And we just start nailing down. Another cool thing is, you can see our guidelines are still helping us make sure that we're putting them even. We'll just continue with the next row. And so on. 6, same process, and keep going. So guys, we're almost there. Made it all the way to the top. Working on my second to last row right now. So the way we have this one, you trim it off and you put the edge flashing on for the rain drip guard, whatever. But the thing is, we're still going to be exposed here. So technically we need to add another row. So what I'm doing, I tried it out here. I already trimmed this up to the edge, my second to last row. And now I'm gonna make my last shingle go a little deeper in here. It's not gonna be the 5-inch mark like you have between your spacing. You're basically sitting right at the opening here of these slits. I'm gonna go a little deeper in, have my tar strip right on the edge here, so the edge flashing will go on top of it. This will still glue down here, and then I'm gonna be fully covered here, so these gaps between the shingles are not exposed, unless you have edge flashing at 6 inches to cover this. But that's what we're gonna do. So I'm gonna finish this last row. I'm going to trim it first, then put down my last row, trim it again, and then we can put out our edge flashing to finish the front. Make sure no rain gets in there and seal it all up. So I got my second to last row done now. Before I put the final one, you want to cut this excess, just make your life easier so you don't have to cut 2 at once. You can cut it from under with a ladder with a regular blade, or with a hook blade. You just hook them right from the front, like I did the corner sides. So here's what I was talking about. Final strip, be fully sealed off. Drip edge is going to cover these seams perfectly. That's how it's gonna look. Just gonna finish this up. We can put the edging. The front is all set and trimmed. We are ready to install our flashing to cover, seal up the front, so no water gets in here. To get a nice clean edge as well. So as you guys can see, I mean, if you have 4-inch flashing, that's even better. I think this one's a couple inches, but it's what I could find in black. We're going to line this up right to the edge here, and as you see, it's going to cover all our seams, and It's gonna look good in the front. So I'm gonna use flashing adhesive. I didn't have black, clear is fine, which doesn't matter because it's just on the roof. So I'm gonna line a couple beads in here and here just to give it extra water seal and nail it all down. I'm gonna nail it down about 12 inches apart. Also hit each nail with a little bit of flashing so no water gets in there as well. So now, like I mentioned before, we want to overlap these at least 3 inches, if not more. As you see, the edges won't go flush. So you don't have to cut anything. You just have to peel this open a little bit, and then you will slide over the edge. So first I'll put some flashing here, cement. And then as you see, tap. We are flush. And we keep going. I just hit each nail with a little bit of flashing, so no water gets in there. You are all set, guys. So guys, that's it. Roof is all done. I'll put details below and at the end of exactly how much material I used and size of roof this is. But yeah, awesome little project. Hope this video is helpful for you. Thank you for watching. And stay tuned for more. And here's what the front edge looks like. Nice clean finish, no water's getting under there. And then the edging here. And the back. So the drip edge will keep the water away from the wood. And we're all set. So guys, that's it. This is how you shingle a shed roof. In my case, a sauna roof and a gazebo. This was a Lean To design roof, and this was 22 feet by 12 feet. So I needed 9 packs of shingles. I needed, I believe, 7 or 8 of the aluminum strips, and I needed 1 big box of the nails and 1 tube of the sealant, and that's all it took to get this done. So not super expensive, not super cheap. It's a rather big roof. But yeah, hopefully this was helpful. Any feedback, comments for myself or others, please share below. Appreciate you guys watching. Please subscribe to the channel, follow this build, and check out all my other how-to videos. Appreciate you guys. Have a great day.